Hello and welcome to practice. Today we're going to have a nice stretch for our legs. And before we get down to it, it should just be a nice lovely time on the floor for this practice. But before we start the stretch, let's get our muscles nice and warm because we know that we don't really want to stretch cold muscles. So join us in a standing position. We'll begin to simply march the feet up and down. If you want, you can have your hands really wherever, but on your hips can be a nice place to have them because you want to try to feel the movement happen right at your hip crease, not in your low back so much. And now from here, we're going to internally rotate. So knees crossing the midline and the toes, when they come down to the floor, pointing toward each other. And then same thing on the external rotation, where now the knees point out nice and wide. Again, trying to make the movement happen right at the hips, not the pelvis moving all about. Okay, let's stretch into the hamstrings here by kicking the heels back. So you're stepping a little bit wider, maybe heels are in, toes are out. Really focus on squeezing this big group of muscles on the back of the leg. And now step the feet even wider, as wide as you can manage with your feet and ankles feeling okay. We're going to go left to right, side lunge, up and down. Move at your own pace, your own depth. We're not trying to move into anything painful, but little pops and cracks might be normal. Go ahead and turn towards one side so you're in a high lunge with the back heel lifted. Get the wobbles out, a little balance check here. And maybe move in the legs up and down a little or a lot, anything that feels good to you. Nice slow deep breathing as you lift up through center, side lunging again, left and right. Really getting the inseam of the legs open. These nice side-to-side movements, really good for us. Turn to the other side, high lunge. Whatever feels productive for you to do here. Nice, slow, deep breathing. All right, you feel warm enough to go down to the floor? Cool. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and come on down. When you come on down, we will want a strap. If you have a strap, you have a strap. If you don't have a strap, a belt from a robe will do. A dog leash will do. Any number of things will do. Now you can choose to have a loop for your foot or not. This already has a loop for the foot, so I'll use it. But for me, I personally don't have a preference. So come on down with your strap. And first, you want to set your spine up on the floor in a way that's sustainable, that's not going to drive you crazy for the next 10 or 15 minutes or so. So you want the back of your neck to be really long. If you need to put it up on a little pillow to get it long, then you might be happier doing that, believe me. And then, or see for yourself, really. And then stretching the rib cage back so that the rib cage comes down to the floor. And then getting a lot of space for the low back. Okay. Let's go ahead and take the strap, pull the right knee into the belly, and strap up the right foot. Did that feel good, Ollie? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try that first. So first, with the arms on the strap, you want your arms to have some tension, but only as much as is necessary. So always come back to like, okay, I don't need that much here. But here, let's bend and straighten the leg a little bit, not going to your max at all. So if that's just little bits of movement, that's little bits of movement. But you want to try to get this to the place where you feel your inner and outer knee working evenly. Whoa, how does that even add up to be something? Think about it, it does. Inner and outer ankles tracking evenly. So let's stretch the right leg with the strap if it works out for you to stretch the leg straight on the floor. with the heel pressing forward and the toes lifting. So you might feel this in your shin. And if you feel anything pop up on the front of the body up towards the ceiling, you're gonna wanna really work on pulling everything down, anchoring your frontal hip bones down, your navel down, your rib cage down, the back of your head down. Let's pull the right knee in and play the edge of straightness on it. Whatever you can do. And then look at your foot. Is it sort of like sickling on is the big toe side pushing more upward or the pinky toe side? You want all 5 toes to be pulling down towards the face evenly, the center of the heel bone pressing up toward the sky. And we want to get the back of the leg on a stretch here. So maybe you feel it in your calf, maybe your hamstring. And start to breathe nice and slow and deep. We're going to hold this for a little bit and let our nervous system get used to the sensation. Very important. And your job here is to go into the sensations. And if you're feeling them mostly around your joints, the back of your knee or the back of your pelvis, start making little micro shifts in your ankle, in your knee, to try to distribute the sensation more towards the middle of your muscle. Try to find the middle of your calf, the middle of your hamstrings. Take slow, deep breaths here, so every moment your brain is feeling safer and safer. All right, a little bend in that knee. We're gonna free the left hand so that the left hand can come onto the front of the left pelvis, because when the right leg is gonna go out, we're gonna let it stretch out to the right here. But it's really heavy and it's gonna wanna try to pull your pelvis and your ribs and your belly with it. So you need to counter rotate in your torso. It's almost like your torso, your pelvis is trying to twist to the left as your right leg goes out to the right. Hello, Ollie's foot. It's all good. Okay, try to find a little sustainable position there. The leg can be any amount bent. And if you get to the point where you're shaking, it might be hard for your nervous system to really feel safe there. So you might want to backtrack a little bit so your nervous system can feel safe. As you're ready, bring that leg up. That's my least favorite stretch, by the way. I really don't like that stretch, but it's so good for us. The leg goes up. We're gonna take the right arm down now so the arms are trading. And keep your pelvis on the ground, but just take your right foot to the left a few inches. So maybe you feel like you're putting a stretch on the outer lining of the leg and that IT band area. Now from here, it really depends on how you feel. If you want to start rolling your pelvis to the left and coming into a twist, this right leg is probably going to be still in the sky. And I love practicing in my living room because then I have, this is in our living room. This is like our dining area. I don't know. But our living room has the ottoman and such. And so I like having furniture there that I can just plop my leg up on. Let's bring this puppy back up. Ooh, buddy. And what we will do is we will release it so that the right foot figure fours over the left knee, and you can release your strap for now. Roll around in that foot and ankle a little bit because they probably were just doing a lot of work for you. Make sure your spine is feeling nice and organized here. All this leg work is going to pull it way off. So you have to kind of reset. And then we'll see if we can lift the left knee in the air. If you already feel like this is a huge stretch down here, stay down here. If you're not feeling much, lift up. And you can support yourself with your hands Ollie's gonna try to fashion some sort of strap support. Did it work? It's okay. Okay. But you could do that, like maybe around the left thigh, if you like double fold it. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and release that left foot down, release the right foot down so both feet stepped right next to each other, and sense is there a difference here? See what's going on. Time to strap up the left foot. Here we go. And if you have the length of your strap where you can lengthen that left leg forward on the ground, you might do that. If you don't have that ability, you can just go right into that hamstring stretch. Now, when that leg goes out, supposing you're doing that with us, you really want to anchor all of that front body stuff down, because that's going to be what wants to poof. You would think that this would be very easy to do. This is not easy to do, to flatten out the underwear crease on the front of the body. That is not an easy thing to do. So that is what we're going for here. You really want to just get your brain down there, right in that underwear crease, and you're saying all of that should stretch out. Let's bring the left knee in and straighten the leg as much as feels okay to you. Remember, the arms are your tool here. They are friends. They're not enemies. We don't want to put too much tension in the arms. So here we can bend and straighten the left leg, little amount, so you can start to play around. Playing around and seeing and feeling all the different goodies. If you'd like to hold a stretch here, find a position where a lot of the sensation is happening in the belly of the muscle, the middle of the calf, the middle of the hamstring. If you feel it in that joint, your job is to make little micro adjustments. You don't need to be able to name them. Just playing and experimenting, and you will accidentally bump into good ideas. Let us free the right hand down to the right side. And this left leg is super heavy, so we are gonna let it go out to the left, because it wants to learn how to do that for us, but we want it to be in control. We don't want it to fall through a range of motion. And so if it's just a little bit of a range, cool. Get your bearings together. Your whole torso and everything on the ground is trying to counter rotate to the right. And hopefully you feel a stretch along that whole inseam of the left side. Okay, when you're ready to bring it up, and we're all in different places, so you can come out at any time, my friend. Come up over the right side just a few inches so that your butt is still on the floor, and you feel sensation through the outside of the left leg. And if you'd like to start to turn the pelvis so that you are lying on your right side with the left side pelvis on top, you can do that. I want the leg in the air to feel still like it's plugged into the hip. So like it could do a job. It could kick, for example, if I needed it to do a job right now. And that's pretty much where my brain feels safest. It's like, if something happened right now and I needed to be ready to do something, am I ready to do it? If you're still in that stretch, you can bring that back up and releasing the sole of the left foot over the right leg. You can release that strap, rolling around through that foot. If you feel like you have a good stretch going here in the outside of your left hip, then you can stay here. If you don't feel that much going on here, maybe lift the legs up off the floor. The best thing to do is to stay organized in your torso, because that will force the hips to be in a certain position. And that position, without knowing too much about it, feels a little bit more trustworthy because it's supporting a really stable structure in your core. So I always try to get the back of the neck nice and long, the ribs going down, the belly down, and then as the legs draw in, it's from the hip crease so that the low back is long. As you feel ready, let's go ahead and return the right foot down to the floor, return the left foot to the floor, and then with the feet wide, we can let the knees rest in on each other and see how the legs feel. Go ahead and interlock the hands behind the head here so that your chest gets a little bit open. You can take your chin into your throat, and then trusting your hands to support you, lift your head up off the floor. Your neck is going to do some of that work because it, of course, it thinks it has to. So really let your neck go into your hands. Trust your hands. And then you can move your head around left and right, like your head is lying in a hammock and it's a blustery day. It's always good to end our practice with a bit of rest so that our minds can also benefit from all of this. So stretch your head back and down to the floor, chin tucked into the throat. You want a sense of openness through the chest without your rib cage poofing up to the sky. Because the more grounded you feel in your trunk, in your pelvis, the more calm you'll feel. Choose a leg variation that works for you, whether you like your legs as they are, you want to straighten them out, or flop them onto an ottoman. It might feel good to begin moving your body by turning your head slowly to the left and to the right. But of course, if something else is calling your name, then definitely do whatever you are most interested and excited to do. You can start to move your fingers, your feet. And eventually, without too much fuss about the whole thing, rolling over to either side into a supported fetal position. Using your hand to support you as you come on up to a comfortable seat. Or you can take any amount of time to readjust. You could even open your eyes and look around and then close your eyes again. But we'll give ourselves another few moments to sit quietly. Sometimes you need a good stretch. So I hope that this made you feel a little ooey gooey. What the stretching can really do is help the brain reestablish new neural pathways to the muscles so that some of your ingrained habits that are maybe creating some aches and pains are a little bit easier to manage and make different choices about moving forward. So that's great. I hope that whatever you are looking to experience or resolve here happened for you. And before I say goodbye, I'd like to say a quick thank you to everybody who's donated to our cause. If you would like to make a donation, we'd love to see your name come through our inbox. You can do that at yogainyourlivingroom.com/donate. So that's it. See you soon.